Testing, testing, 1, 2. Testing, testing, 1, 2. Seconds. Yeah, there's me walking over. Oh, that's fine. All right. Wait, can I test this one too? I have the mic set up here. Test, test. Test, test, 1, 2. This is the lapel mic. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Game Dev Club. Make sure I see a lot of you not wearing a name tag, so please go out and grab a name tag. They're on the right side of the table with the pizza. Feel free to grab a slice of pizza. We usually do socializing until we get started. I'm going to grab myself a slice. So in about a minute here, we're going to start the meeting, and I look forward to seeing y'all. Test, test. All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you all for coming tonight. Should I stand in the lights? There we go. That's better. All right. Welcome to Game Dev Club. I'm going to turn it over to Emma Jo from Kiln real quick, and then we'll get started.
Hey y'all, welcome to Kiln. We're happy to have y'all here. Right now you're using one of our event spaces. This is our theater. It's available for rent, whether you're a member or not. And we have a lot of different events that we like to host here. We also have a place called the Atrium, which is another one of our event spaces. We are a co-working space. So we have conference rooms, we have private offices, we have club desk memberships. You are welcome to come and work with us anytime. We'd love to offer all of you a free day pass. So if that's something you'd be interested in, if you really like our space and you'd like to try us out for free for a day with a friend, you can stop by the front desk and I'll be right there and you can get yourself a pass. But we're so happy to have you all here. Thank you so much for coming.
All right. Thank you, Emma Jo. All right. Kiln's really nice to let us use their space. I should really put this on the slides. So first things first, club dues. We are in the red from last month on dues for running the club. That involves paying for the pizza, paying for the meetup.com website. Recommended dues are $3 per person per meeting. Dues are voluntary. If you're a student, a starving student, you don't have to pay, but if you could, it'd be really nice. Also, if any of you know anybody who is a bit of a philanthropist or a patron of the arts, or anybody who has a tech company that they'd like to have sponsor the meetings, please let me know what we can do about arranging a sponsorship. We've had a few people sponsor the meetings in the past, and that's worked out real well. It's usually just covering the cost of pizza for each meeting. All right, so let's go around real quick and introduce everybody. So when we do introductions, we're going to do, make sure you say your name, say what you do in game development, or if you're a student, or if you have a day job, whatever, but usually what you do in game development. Make sure you say what the name of your current project is. And we'll just go around the room real quick and have everybody do introductions. So I'm Thomas. I am a freelance software engineer. I'm currently unemployed and looking for work. Please let me know if you know anybody who's hiring software engineers. My current project is Junkatron, a fast-paced match 3 with CGI, with old CGI's robots in the style of 90s TV shows like Reboot. It's coming out on Steam next month. And I'm going to pass it around real quick. Do you want to go or should we do you last?
Hi, everybody. My name is Troy Giebel. I am a composer, music. Um, I currently work as a driver part time and as a sheet music editor part time. And I have a couple of projects right now that I'm jumping back and forth between. One is called Cardificer, it's a deck builder dungeon crawler. And the other is Reflection of Shadow, which is a top-down kind of battle strategy game.
Thank you, Trey. Oh, I forgot to mention one more thing. We are currently live. Do not say anything too embarrassing.
Hi, I'm Madeline. I'm married to him. So, and right now I'm doing freelance art. We just finished up. Well, I just finished up. I think the hopefully final art assets for Junkatron, and yeah, I've also done some illustrations for other things, and I animated for some cutscenes for Art at the Jewel of Fairmore. My current project, I have like a little mobile game type thing where you like shoot a can into the air. So that's what I'm working on right now.
My name is Keith Warnick. I am an AI ML guy, and I am working on an AI Game Master service product for a games dev startup company called Wonderheart. And if any of you have knowledge of angels or other investors that are interested in that kind of thing, please let me know. Thanks.
Hey, I'm Jared. I'm a software developer for Utah State Government. And while I wish I had more time to work on it in the last couple of months, my current project is a survival horror roguelite called Thy Flesh Consumed.
Hi, my name is Jenna. I'm actually in the marketing space, and I'm looking to do more marketing in the game development sphere. I've been working in marketing for 6 years. I love it. So yeah, I'm just here to learn more and kind of gain more ideas. So yeah.
I'm Derek Brown. I work in cybersecurity. Interested in gaming. Just doing a lot of writing right now.
Hi, I'm Liam. I currently do some level and game design freelance, and my current project is a turn-based strategy game called Doctrineers.
Hello, I'm Casey. I work as a software developer, and I wouldn't say that I have a current project. We're kind of learning the ropes of Godot right now. That's where I've been spending my time.
My name's Dallin, software engineer, and I'm working on a game called Hue. That's a platformer with a little aspect of color, like change colors, and it changes what land and blocks you can interact with.
My name is Hunter. I'm a software engineer, and currently working on a dorky little game called Danger and Sons. It's kind of like a top-down survival roguelite something. We'll see.
My name is Ross. I'm a 3D artist, generalist, kind of dabble with all things Blueprint. Working on a PC and mobile kind of resurrection of an old Palm Pilot game. And the name is TBD, depending on if I can get rights to it or not.
Hello, my name is Joseph. I am doing music production and sound design for my friend Taylor's project over here.
Hi, my name is Garrett. I'm a software engineer. My current project is a cooperative strategy RPG.
My name is Taylor. I am an electrical engineer and playing with game dev whenever I have time. And Joe and I have been working on some stuff together, but doing a top-down local couch co-op multiplayer competitive game based where you compete with your friends and multiple copies of yourself and try to deduce who's who and battle in different game modes. So working on that, it's called Doppelhunter. It's been a lot of fun, but I'm doing it in GameMaker.
Hi, my name is Shane Smith, a longtime game developer, starting up a new project right now that is a VR military shooter that is intended to help people combat PTSD.
Now's a bad time to take a bite. Hi, I'm Brienne. I'm working on a couch co-op tower defense game about building mazes called Labyrinths of Elfheim. I'm about 3 years into development and hopefully in the last one now.
All right, thank you, everybody. Just so you know, our Discord server is right up here. I'm about to take it down. The Discord server is only invite only from the admins, so this is your only chance to get on it unless you want to come around and bother me after the meeting. All right, so after this, we're going to go ahead and do Kai's talk, the mechanical narrative of games, and afterwards we'll be having a chance for everybody to show off their demos, answer any questions you've got. Please feel free to ask questions. We have an expert in just about every field here, so even if so feel free to ask if you're a student or if you want to figure out how to get started. We also have a whole bunch of we have a channel of resources on the Discord server, which has a whole bunch of fun stuff you can get started on if you want to teach yourself how to make games or if you have questions about specific topics. All right, thank you all for coming. And was there anything else? Nope, that's it. All right, I'll turn it over to Kai. Why do I have Kai Bradford? That is, I think that's the July one. I'm so sorry, Troy. I'll go modify it right now. Hang on. Sorry about that. Here, let's get you mic'd up. That'll teach me to put together 5 minutes into the meeting.
Testing. Looks like it works. Sweet. Yeah, I think it should. I got a driver installed, so the audio should work through my computer rather than through my interface. Sure. Yeah. I'll just open a previous project and see. Yeah, I recently changed the locations of all of my instruments to make it the same between my two computers, and so my old projects are not recognizing the new locations. I've yet to figure that out, but I can still test this. Let's see. Looks like it's being a bit laggy. That's all right. Test the audio real quick. Instrument. I'll kind of do a little more of this later. Looks like I need to get everything. No, I haven't told my software where my instruments are, so I'm just gonna do that real quick. This is called Cubase. It's software. The overarching, like, what the program is called a digital audio workstation. That's what any media composer will use as or even in recording, mixing, mastering, they'll use a digital audio workstation. Cubase works really well for virtual instruments, from what I understand. Plugin now, and I am going. Yes, this is right. 1. Do it. Yes, here we are. Let's do this one. Why not? That's a good place to start. Up. Yeah, this one. I think the Crestron is the. Don't need input. Make sure. Up. Get volumes up. And now I can expand this so I can open this window so I can see if the input is working. Let's see. What would I do to? Okay.
Why do you have to sign in to run a program? Is
Well,
this Windows
it-
11?
This is Windows 11. Yeah.
Back
It did do the bloop. So
Oh, it did. Okay.
yeah. So let's see. Yeah, let's go to Studio Setup. There's a lot of windows to keep track of. Let's see. Audio connections. There we are. That'll do it. Oh, that's the input. Let's try it. Okay, yeah. Outputs. Here we are. ACO for all. Okay, that should work. Let's see. Now let's see if it detects my keyboard. Sorry, doing all the troubleshooting stuff. We'll get this going soon. Let's see. Go here again. That's what I'm gonna try and get it to recognize. Oh, okay. Let's see. Nano key. Okay. Okay, looks like they are. Let's click on a different. Okay, yes. Okay, so it should work. Should work. I'll close this project. Okay, so thank you all for your patience. Welcome to my presentation. I'm just going to demonstrate the kind of the game music pipeline from getting started to exporting what's it called? Your first draft or second draft. But before I jump into the software, like the first thing that happens when doing music for any media, really games or movies, is a conversation with the director or whoever's in charge of the game. In said meeting, you'll generally talk about kind of like for each level or each spot, you kind of want to get a feel for like what emotions you want, because music is kind of the main primer of emotions in games, or one of them. So you talk about like, do you want it ambient, active, more like, and you can the composer's job in this conversation is to take the producer's vision and translate it into music. The composer acts as the translator for all things music related in this conversation. So once that conversation has happened, we'll just I'll just kind of run you guys through how I start a project. I'm gonna just create empty. New folder. I would title it, and then it opens the project. And from here, I can save. I'm just gonna do demo. Saving is super. Like I think in anything, saving is super key. Make sure we don't lose things. So, I'm going to get my keypad. This thing's very handy. Since my laptop doesn't have a 10 key on it, this there's a lot of short keys that are used in audio workstations, and a lot of them are on the 10 key. So I'll start by just creating a new track. I am let's see what I have. Go with Opus. That has a lot of my orchestral instruments, and I'm gonna. It's funny. I notated some stuff on some staff paper that I was going to bring here to use, and I forgot that. So as this is a lot of this is gonna be from memory, but see, I'm gonna go ahead and choose my instruments. Do brass. I'm gonna start with. Do I have? Okay, yeah, we'll just use Opus. Oh, it's playing. Okay, let's open again. So let's say the level that we are designing for kind of has a darker feel to it. And what I like to do is anytime I have a random idea, like a random musical idea pop into my head, I'll get out my phone and I have a voice recorder that I'll record into, and see, I probably should get the instrument going. So the idea that I'm gonna kind of flesh out for you guys right now comes from one of those recordings. Okay, it's not going to load for me. All right, let's a different. Probably should have tested this on the laptop. I was doing this on my desktop last night, but desktops are not the most portable. Let's go with this. Input, but not getting output. Anyway, so what I would do, no, it should be working. It's like this. So this bar right here shows received input signal, and I'm not getting an input signal there right now. I wonder if it's because my libraries are wonky. Like I said, I haven't fully configured yet. Okay, let's go into. I'm gonna go into my instruments again. All right, that's wrong. Go to the plugin manager. There we go. We'll just go through process of elimination until we get it to work. Going to use Spitfire Albion 1. Oh wait, that's right. Remembering things on the fly. Okay, so here's a bunch of libraries I have. here we are. This is what I want. Okay. Grass low. Get my kind of main idea going here. Okay. Channel. It's where, oh, it's not coming through the. Let's figure that part out. Cause if you, it's coming through my computer, but not through the system. See if I can figure that. See if we can figure that out real quick. Audio system. I'm not sure what that is actually. I have not seen it before. The yeah, file organizing. I need to do more file organizing on this. Okay, so it should output device. Ooh. Nope, still just my computer. But I could see if I can get that other mic next to the computer speaker and maybe we can hear it a little bit. I think back here, I think we can set it. I think it's on full. Yeah, let's take a look at that. Go to, and this screen, by the way, since we're demonstrating while we're configuring everything, this screen shows me my levels, also shows me my routing. So there's that. So that. Ooh. That's doing some. See if we can get through. Yes, I think so. Let's go back in here. Gonna be clipping like crazy, but
Well, let's let it clip.
yep. Yeah, we'll let it clip. That's all right. All right. All right, so I'm going to start with my low brass. Oh, and I also need to, so the idea I had, so time signature kind of shows you like if I'm in, do I have 4 beats, like 1, 2, 3, 4, or do I have 3, 1, 2, 3? So I'm gonna change it so that I have 3 beats in any given measure. And I'm also going to come down to the metronome right here, and I'm going to change the tempo. Like normally, like I have a tempo app, or I have like a physical metronome at home, where I'll have an idea for the tempo I want, and then I just match it in here. Turn the click on. This thing right here. So when I hit record, it'll it'll record the idea, or it'll give me a tempo so that I can keep track of the beat. So I'll go ahead and just start recording. So this is kind of that dark brooding feeling we're going for. This is kind of what was kind of, it was feeling like from the like if I was if we had a different idea that we were going for, I'd probably use a different thing, but this just felt dark and brooding, so I'm going for dark and brooding for our design here. Going to create a MIDI track to put this onto. Since this I can put multiple instruments in this plugin right here. This shows what instruments I have open, and I can choose which channel to put it in. So over here, I'm going to make sure that the same channel is selected, and then if I play back, there we go. So that so that's kind of getting started. I can add more instruments. Have some strings I was going to add to this. Come into my plugin again. Go find my strings. So this is just kind of showing my process. So I'll open up my strings. It'll take a minute. But once that's loaded, I'm gonna add. So this is kind of, it's kind of sort of a melody, but also kind of not. So I'm gonna add some kind of accompaniment background to this to give it some depth. I'm gonna add some staccato strings to it, and from there I'm gonna add another melody on top as kind of to juxtapose the tuba. So go ahead and record again. Sounds like we can't hear it too well, but that's okay. I should probably turn my... Okay, so I've recorded that. If I don't, and I can double click on the track itself. I can go in, I can zoom in, and this is MIDI data right here. MIDI stands for musical interface digital instrument or something along those lines. So these are the notes I played in MIDI format, and I can go in and edit them. Looks like we were not quite in time, so I can highlight them, and I can do what's called quantize. This tells me what I'm quantizing to, whether to the beat or to the half the beat. The eighth note is half a beat in this instance. So I can hit quantize, and that'll line up my audio. But we see that some of them kind of clump together. So I can select them individually and then move them over. And then I can go through, edit notes I didn't intend to play, and such. So this is where a lot of like after kind of all the development stuff happens, this is kind of where a lot of time is spent, is getting the notes to sound at the correct length, getting the parameters where I need them. With how many different things you can do in a digital audio workstation with the capabilities of the different instruments you have, there's a lot of things to keep under control. So just so I've input the notes, but then I would spend time going through making sure things sound the way I want it to before and that kind of goes on to create more depth. I'm gonna go ahead and add a melody here. Go on top. And I'm also gonna come in. I'm gonna come in and my this so these are so these switches here I can use, these faders I can use to work with the different parameters like volume, expression, vibrato, whether or not a sound is wavy or if it's just straight. So this is something I can use to help edit those on the fly. What I'll do here is I'll select this these notes here, and I'm just going to bring this whole thing down so that I can have balance with the strings. May also turn the strings up. So there, it's funny. There's a lot of different places that you can find parameters. We have this window here. We have this here. This is essentially the output volume, which I can turn up here. And then this window has some parameters, volume parameters as well. And then there's the master bus right here. So ends up being a lot to keep track of. It's quite fun. So let's see how that balances out now. And I'm not hearing my brass. This is fun. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see, got the volume. And this is stuff that you just run into as you go. I've heard it said as you start, you have 90% troubleshooting, 10% creating, and as you get better, it flips itself. I think I'm somewhere in the middle right now, maybe more towards the troubleshooting end, especially with the way my instruments are right now. But yeah, so lots of fun stuff to learn. But let's go ahead and record. I'm gonna go ahead and record my melody. I'm gonna get out some woodwinds to let's go with the high winds. I was gonna do a solo bassoon, but I don't think I have a solo bassoon library to use. So we will improvise. Go ahead and record again. Now let's get my and then each library kind of has its different things. Again, these are more parameters right here. Right here, I can select if I want long or short notes in the articulations. I'm going to select long notes for my melody. And the difference that makes is if I have short notes selected, kind of like I did with my strings, or staccato, even if I hold the key for a long time, it won't play a long note. But if I change it so that the note's long, I can get the notes longer. And something else you find when doing note input, if oftentimes with like the longer notes, you'll use the faders to control volume, but in the short notes, how hard I press the key will determine how much volume I get. So let's go ahead and record right here. This is just me improvising. It gives me I've set it to give me 2 measures to start. So lot of improvising, and there's a lot of different ways to get this going as well. I can a lot of times I'll just improvise my notes. Sometimes, like I was going to have today, I have it. I have the idea kind of premeditated, and that can that can make input quicker. But also developing the idea beforehand, it takes its own time. And I've discovered that each the different methods of creating help make me create in different ways. So like if I'm improvising, there's kind of a certain way that things will happen. If I want something to be more detailed, I doing notating it on paper helps me for that. Or even just playing different instruments. Like I'll come up with the ideas I come up with on a piano will be different than the ideas I come up with on a trombone or whistling or different things like that. So kind of fun to mix different creation methods together. But anyway, let's say this is kind of the idea that we have going, I'll export it. So I'll select the measures that I want and highlight my tracks, and then I'll go and in Cubase, the software I'm using, I'll export an audio mix down. For the purpose of just for listening, I'll just export a single track, and then we can I'll just hit export. It'll create a WAV file, which is a lossless type of audio. Like MP3, which we see a lot, is a lossy file type. So the amount of difference it makes to the ear is not enormous, but some information gets lost when the file type is compressed in formats such as MP3. In doing some research for this presentation, I discovered MP3 is not a good idea to use for games. And from the projects I've been involved in, it seems that OGG Vorbis is a common file type for games, which it's compressed, but it's a higher quality format than MP3. But for the purposes of sharing the audio just to listen to, I'll export it as a WAV. And then I'll have the conversation with the director, and we determine, okay, this sounds good, this doesn't. If I need to go back in and edit some things, I'll go back in and edit some things. Like with the project I'm working on right now, Cartificer, I'm working on a battle track at the moment, which there's also an ambient track for this first floor, which is the sewer. So the ambient track plays when you're in a room that you've either cleared the enemies or there's not enemies in the room. And then when when the player encounters enemies, this battle theme starts playing. So initially, so the tempo of the ambient track was 90 beats per minute. And initially, the battle track I was creating, I was matching the tempo there, so it'd be easy to switch back and forth between the two in implementation. But I was I felt like a faster tempo would work better, so I upped the tempo to 110 beats per minute. And then I added some things to it, submitted it to my team for review. And the main programmer was like, I don't know if this will work. With the two different tempos, I don't think we have the capability to get them to work together. And so you may need to consider changing this. I'm like, cool. And we have an audio implementer, which is awesome. It takes a lot of work off of both my plate and the programmer's plate. So I'm like, yeah, I'll chat with the implementer. And so I talked with him. He kind of has an idea for how we might make the two different tempos work together with like some transition tracks and different things like that. But if it doesn't work, then I'll just go back to 90 beats per minute and adjust different things until we as a team feel that it works with the level. So that's kind of nuts and bolts of going from start to first draft. If I want to get and this is just kind of as an extra side note, if I want to get the final draft going, I'll export what are called stems. So rather than exporting a single audio file, I will export multiple files by group. Let's say I have, like some of you who were here earlier, you saw the other file that I had open that had a whole bunch of tracks on it. I would create buses. So I would essentially create an audio track for each different group. Let's say I have, these are my 3 different groups. So I would create 3 different audio tracks. And then I would go into I would go in and create what's called a bus. And the bus will, buses are used for a lot of different things in all kinds of audio. But essentially what I can do is I can print this MIDI information as as an audio track, like a waveform. And then I can export those files for either the implementer to mix or and that also helps if say I want to take this layer and I don't want it to play at certain times, by exporting the different tracks or by exporting multiple files in different groupings, it makes it so that you can sorry, lose my words here. Essentially separate things into layers, which I think is probably for me doing music for games. I think that's one of the things I consider most fun is the ability to work with dynamic layers, depending on where you're at or what's going on in the game. So the exporting multiple files is what helps with that. Yeah, that's kind of nuts and bolts there. If anyone has any questions, you're welcome to fire away. But that is what I have. So thank you.
My first question is, can we hear the exported file?
Yeah, actually, that's a good idea. And actually, this should come through the computer because since it's just we know the computer sounds are working. It's just Cubase and some other digital audio workstations. They're kind of picky about where, like the software is for some reason picky about where things go. So like, for example, in a Zoom call, I can't share my Cubase audio. I have to export. Yeah, this is, I'll probably turn the volume down because since I boosted it so that we could hear it in the room, it's probably going to be very loud on the computer. Cubase stuff. New. Oh wait, I created it. Let's see if I can. Actually, that's a great idea. Save some time. Export audio mix down. We are in C. Okay, C users. Users, me. Oh, documents. Thank you. Documents. Steinberg. Yep, new folder, mix down. Okay, turn the volume way down, and then I'll turn it up. Clear. Except the bass didn't work, so. So this would not be something that we would put into the final, but this could be, I could export something like this to be like, hey, this is where I'm at right now. This is the direction I see myself going in. What do you think? And so a lot of conversation can happen, even with a crappy sounding track like this. So, although I would usually polish it a little more before that.
Does a wave format preserve the distinctness of the audio tracks where they're on separate channels, or is it just merged into like one mono track? And so, like, if you wanted to get a specific track back of it, you'd have to come back into here and export just that one track, or
Oh, so yeah, so it'll compressed or uncompressed formats will still retain panning the left and right. It's the quality that slightly degraded in an MP3 versus a WAV file. Were you gonna add something to that?
I think what you were talking about was having like a multitude of stems where you have, normally you have your stereo channels of left and right, but there are ways of having audio files with multiple channels for each track. They're used a lot in film. But most of the time what you're going to be doing with music specifically is exporting out stems, and then each of those stems will have their individual stereo channels. And then you mix those stems together either in real time in the game engine or in a digital audio workstation or something like that.
Perfect.
How much does Cubase cost?
The starter version. It's been a while. I think it might either be 20 or 50, something in that neighborhood. The version I have, I think, is around 500, but I built up to it over time doing upgrades, like two or three different upgrades.
Does it have a free trial?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Are there any third-party, either open or licensable assets that you find useful, or do you tend to do everything yourself?
What do you mean by third-party assets?
Like someone makes a nice instrument, or there's a MIDI track you use as a bass for something.
So I think a lot of what we as composers use, like there'll be virtual instruments that come with the software, which is kind of limited what they are. So we'll go into the rabbit hole of buying virtual instrument libraries from a bunch of different third-party companies. So that's kind of where most of our stuff comes from. There are some occasional, like, random other assets that we might put in. Does that help answer your question?
Yeah, it does. And for making your own instruments, is there a tool or program you prefer for that kind of work, or you've not really delved into that?
I haven't dived into that a whole
Okay.
lot yet, but I do know some guys that work at a company that does that. It's essentially just like you'll go out, you'll do recordings of whatever it is, and then it's just a lot of audio editing. So I like part of what I want to do with my tracks is like I have some instruments at home. So like I can record them directly into my thing, or if I wanted to, I could create audio files, save them, and use them like that. Yeah, it wouldn't sound quite as good as a processed virtual instrument library, but I could do something like that.
Does Cubase have a way of exporting staff notation stuff if you wanted to, say, give this to an orchestra to perform or something?
Yeah, let me show you that actually. So all almost all music software that I'm aware of, you can export into a format called XML, or music XML. It wouldn't work with if I had audio files, I wouldn't be able to export those into a software, but I can export this MIDI data as a, let's see, I would, yeah, so I would select these and hit export at music XML. It's not coming up right now. But I've done this before where you export the XML, and then that XML goes directly, so it'll translate into staff notation, and then you just edit it from there because it's usually a really big mess. or even vice versa. Actually, recently I found a project I did in college where I'm like, ooh, I should create a demo of this, and so it was a full orchestra, 20 some odd instrument parts exported into Cubase as just MIDI tracks, and then I I linked instruments to each track, and still in the process of editing that. But yeah.
Does anyone else have questions? Oh,
So aside from Cubase, are there any fun or interesting audio tools that you use in your workflow or that you've heard other artists enjoy using?
Yeah. So Cubase, like I said earlier, is very good for virtual instruments, MIDI. Not great for recording, or well, it's okay for recording. Not great for editing. Not great for mixing. Very limited in its capabilities of that. So I use Pro Tools for that. Pro Tools is the industry standard for like recording studios. So and it has a lot more capability in recording. For example, there's a miking technique that that I got into a number of months ago, that I can record live in Pro Tools using that. It's essentially two microphones paired like this. One reads two sides, one reads one. So it kind of creates a like a fake stereo field, small one. It's called mid-side, and I can record live mid-side in Pro Tools, but I can't in Cubase. Like I'd have to do some post editing to make it work like that. But yeah, there's Ableton is a really common digital audio workstation that a lot of people use. FL Studio, Reaper, Logic is a really common one for Mac users, that I've heard is really good. Yeah, lots of different options, and they all have very similar workflows, more or less similar key inputs. There's differences between them, and they have their different strengths and weaknesses. But yeah, Cubase and Pro Tools are the two that I use, and then for notation, I use Sibelius. So yeah,
did you have slides or any notes to put on the resources channel?
I did. Not really. I had slides for like a layout, but didn't really think they'd work with this presentation, so it doesn't have really.
Do you have any links you'd want to share on the resources channel?
Yeah, I can share some links to like different digital audio workstations, also virtual instruments. Getting in, there's a lot of you don't want to get all the expensive stuff, because a virtual instrument library usually costs $200 to $400 or more. Some are in thousands. It's kind of ridiculous. But there are some free ones. I'll link them in the Discord when we're done. But Spitfire Labs is a really good one. There's also like a collective of people who make their own instruments that a friend referred me to. I haven't used it yet, but I've heard that's a lot of fun, so I'll link that. But yeah, I'll link some resources. Like I think Reaper is a free digital audio workstation. So I think that's a good one to start on. If you are on Mac, Logic is like for the full thing. is $200, which is really, really inexpensive compared to other full-scale flagship digital audio workstations. But yeah, I can link some free stuff, cheap stuff that works pretty good.
Questions? Great. Thanks, Troy.
Thank you for listening to my ramblings.
All right, I'm turning the time over to the club. If you have a demo, set it up and show it to people. If you have any questions, come and ask me. I can point you to the right person to answer them. And please start packing up and getting ready to go at 7:55. They shoo us out of the building by 8. So thank you all for coming.
Thank you.